starting in the southeast, playing as the Red Zerg, representing Team Clash in Italy. It's Reynor.
And spawning over in the top left side, playing as the Blue Protoss, it is Zest is best.
Representing Team Raise Your Edge.
Yeah, one of the new teams to the scene.
Do you know Raise Your Edge?
It's the poker, isn't it?
Yeah, Poker Masterclass, one of the best ones, if not the best one.
Ooh, and immediately starting this game, we have Zest with an immediate probe scout that goes for his natural. But Reynor, upon seeing that, it's like, I've played against this one too many times in my life, and just goes immediately to that third. But that already puts the Zerg in a little, like, not so great position. If you want to transfer drones to that third, it's a bit more tricky. It also opens up the potential for those earlier depths to be a bit more nifty getting to that third base.
Hey, if anything, I guess if we had to pick, like, a single mistake, in game number 2 of Reynor against Showtime, he didn't really see those oracles coming and stuff, so it feels like he's going to have to be maybe a little bit more on point here against the Zest, who's looked pretty incredible himself. There's always that extra motivation you get when you join a new team, but that goes for both of these guys, as Reynor just joined Clash as well. You always want to, represent to the fullest, put on a good performance, and show them that they made the right choice. I mean, with these guys, those teams certainly did.
So far, it's really, really good for both of them. I mean, these guys are hot pickups right now. Going into this match, though, one thing that's really come together for Reynor as a player, for a long time in the foreign scene, we all saw Serral as by far the very best Zerg, just because he had it all. He was very well-rounded, he was aggressive when he needed to be, he could also play the late game. Reynor, on the other hand, we all looked at him and it was like, he's obviously good at the start and the middle, but when it comes to the later game, he kind of wasn't as good as Serral. But I think that's one of the things that he's really focused on and paid a lot of attention to in himself, because he is no stranger to the late game anymore. The fact that he controls the map like he does, but he's also learned how to use all the units that he was kind of not so sure about using. So just that level of confidence that he has in his own ability, it's great to see.
Hey, he mastered all of the transitions and just scouting, knowing for which units to go for at what time, the level of aggression. Even though he's attacking all the time and doing Zergling attacks, you never see Reynor go for like a really bad attack or a really bad fight. That very rarely happens. It feels like this group is already kind of crazy because Su is 0-2, by the way, in it, which I don't think anyone really expected.
No, it's certainly not dropping so easily to Armani, I suppose. I know it was quite a close series between those two, but that is not how the previous champion wanted to start off this group. Now, going into this game, we do have a Twilight Council and a Robo. I know Zest a long time ago liked to resort to Oracle openings and such, but here in this tournament so far, he's been a massive fan of the Adept plays. And Zest, I've never known him as a player that's had like a huge array of builds in his arsenal, but he's liked the builds that he does a lot, and he always does them really well.
He kind of perfected like some very aggressive styles and builds. Like I remember specifically against Terran, like he always opened Blink and played pretty aggressive, but at the same time was ready with the defense. Against Zerg, for a long time, he was one of the better Protosses that would play with a lot of Stalkers and a lot of Sentries for Force Field. So he's kind of a bit of a specialist in that regard with very few specific builds and relies a lot on his execution and micro in particular.
And Reynor's, he's a smart guy, so he's probably been looking into what Zest has been doing in the previous games, and so far, he's got a reasonably early Roach Warren. We do have Adepts on the field and the Warp Prism. Now it's a big deal about finding out what he's up against, and seeing these Adepts in the Warp Prism, Zest, he had to drop them because he doesn't want these links breaking down his wall, but now Reynor knows what's up. He starts making Roaches pretty darn early. He's getting this creep spread out. Hopefully for him, he doesn't take too much damage.
If that Roach Warren had been delayed a little bit more here, that would have been very bad for Reynor, because this is a scary attack that's coming up here. There's going to be so many Adepts with Glaives. They attack extremely fast, even if you have units in position. Drones can start dying left and right. And Zest is looking to try and use the distance between all of the bases here to shade back and forth, force the units to be in the wrong spot, and start killing drones. But so far, Reynor was in a good enough position to push those back. And I like the move by Zest, very mature, to just pull back, say, okay, I've lost the shields. I need to wait a little more here, force more units out of you. In the meantime, I'm still making a ton of probes.
Yeah, and so far right now, he's pushing in with these Adepts, just making Reynor's life difficult. And if you're wondering, why aren't all his units here? Well, he threatened with the Shade going to the natural base, which is going to be a big power play by Zest, warping in so many Zealots here. A few drones do start going down, but oh, and he shades into the natural, but there's no drones there. This is a really good catch by Reynor. Yeah,
Reynor managing this pretty well so far. He's only lost the 3 drones. Obviously, Zest in the meantime has made a ton of probes. He's on 42 walkers to 33. What a build.
It is really good, but Reynor so far, I think he's handling it pretty darn well. Like, he's even droning up at this point. He's not worried about the next wave of the attack. He's respecting it, but he's not scared of it, and now he's actually catching up in that work account. Also, I gotta say, I love the fact that he hasn't just kind of tried to overdrone this base. He's been like, okay, that's obviously a weak point. That connects the 3rd and the main base. It's the middle meeting ground for the Adepts to shade. And he was like, no, I know how to defend against this. I leave my natural, not mining too much, and I don't take too much damage. And so far, he's handled this very well.
Yes, they're still looking to try and be aggressive here with the 1 Prism and few units in it. Kind of supply blocking a little bit here, Reynor, for some time. Even pushing back the creep here is very, very nice, because it's not like too hard to do. He had the 1 observer in position, and in the meantime, he's going to go into a forge. The 3rd base is well on the way. Reynor, as soon as he saw that he had pretty much defended, the Adept attack went into lair tech. So he didn't rush that too early. Like, he really respected that attack, and now he's building up his walker count very nicely up to 52 before going into more units. You never really know, what follow-up is going to come. It's very hard to scout in the meantime. Doesn't really have an overlord on the other side of the map. So he's being very careful right now.
Beautiful pull away with those roach, or rather the drones there. Leaving the roaches at the 3rd base as well, because there are those 2 sneaky Adepts on the left side of this base ready to run in at any moment. But we have to give Zest credit. Behind all this, he's taken a 3rd base. So even though it has been a full committal by him, it's not an all-in by any means. It's just a lot of pressure. The thing is, Reynor's just dealt with everything so darn well so far. And this Warp Prism, found a nice dead spot there and gets out of trouble.
And again, Reynor pulled the drones out of there, got the perfect defense here. He's really minimized the amount of drones that he allowed to die here in this game. Zest, in the meantime, is going to a lot of immortals. He's built up a bit of a sentry count. I think we can already kind of see what's going to come next.
And that's a lot of gateways on the way as well there, Todd. Even more sentries joining. Blink and +1 being upgraded. Even more immortals. He's not getting gases on that 3rd base either.
I guess he's going to attack the 3rd base maybe through the rocks that are above it. Just a little bit of maybe through the left side here, or even above there, like if he kills those rocks and then goes through.
Yeah, one advantage that he has had is the fact that he has been attacking so much, so he knows the location of where his valuable buildings are and such. And the Roach Warren being over here, if you could potentially stop roaches entirely by killing that Roach Warren, this could be a nice spot to attack from.
Yeah. Clear reconstitution will have completed before, but yeah, like especially if Reynor doesn't anticipate that and remake the Roach Warren in advance, all you have to do is just kind of sit there while the opponent is only able to make links, which usually are not going to be great against a pretty big army with sentries, immortals, stalkers.
Oh, and the push is coming, and he's going right down to the bottom of the map. This Warp Prism's been annoying, and he's been microing well with the immortals. They still have full health, so going into this big attack, which is going to consist of a lot of stalkers. Reynor, he smells this coming though. He hasn't droned past 62, equal with the Protoss, and he's just making pure battle units at this point.
Gonna try and go for a counter-attack. The wall is open. That's Reynor for you. He always finds those little things here.
And this is really bad for Zest. He doesn't want to be wasting Warpins back at home. Zergling's in the main base, in the natural, and he's losing a lot of probes. Has to warp in Zealots at home, and he just runs away. He's going to go back to the natural. Yes, there's some Stalkers here, but they do not fare super duper well. And the Lings, he's focusing down the probes as well while defending back at home.
And Reynor already killed so many probes that Zest is going to have to go all in. All Reynor has to do here is hold against this attack, and he's going to be fine. He's going to try and delay the fight a little bit. He has so many Ravagers here to break those force fields. Try and land some corrosive bites on top of this army, but he might just... I don't know, I don't think he can evacuate his base. He has to make a stand here, maybe pull the drones in a second and try and hold on. Still finding damage on the other side.
This is crazy. He's still got a lot of Ravagers, but he has to remake his Roach Warren during this attack. And I mean, that is still a healthy amount of Stalkers. And given that Zest knows that he can't make Roaches right now, he's just warping in Zealots. This is really, really catastrophic damage, though, for Zest, since he's lost 30 probes back at home.
Yeah, and it's very hard for Zest to move up that ramp here because there's the threat of like mass corrosive bites.
Oh, but Reynor smells blood in the water here, going for the third base with the Lings, and actually forces a bit of a recall here. I think that's the right move by Zest, because if he loses the economy on this base as well, he's kind of doomed into a super all-in position. But Reynor just bought himself so much time.
Yeah.
And it's not as if he's in a super bad spot economically.
Hey, look at how he's going to use that, by the way. +2 melee on the way, he gets centrifugal hooks, and he gets pneumatized carapace. So it's like, well, even though you have Blink, you're somewhat low on tech. You don't have any Stargates on the way. If I start dropping Banelings on top of these probes, I've already killed so many of them, I might just get ahead enough to just secure myself map number 1 here. And I think he might very well be right. Zest found some damage, though, with that cancel on the hatchery.
Yeah, I think Zest is doing everything he can here. Is he going to get another... Oh, will he be able to get the kill here? Oh, he even got it without a cancel there, so that's nice for him. But the 2 probes that were hidden in the main base actually managed to run into that mineral line and take out another 7 probes while all this chaos was going on the other side of the map. This is a crazy start to this series. Like,
yeah.
They're both doing exactly what we wanted to see from them. Zest didn't allow Reynor to just kind of do whatever he wanted, but the same with Reynor. They both play in a similar style, that they just go all in, guns blazing.
This is Starcraft 2 played at its highest level here. So much has happened, and we're at 11:30, but they still got so much supply. You know, they traded the best that they could, made really good decisions. I kind of like Reynor evacuating eventually, because it felt like he couldn't really win that fight at his 3rd base, and now Zest is on the warpath yet again, getting in position to maybe go for the attack here.
That is so many Ravagers.
The bios! Oh my god!
He just splattered that army, and Zest just walks through the bios. He doesn't give a damn about them at all, and there's still so many Ravagers left. Zest, he's just tanking all those bios. He's trying to micro home against the Banelings as well. This is chaos on both sides.
Reynor, can he hold on this side? The hatchery is very low on hit points. Zest, does he go for the target fire? Corrosive bites are landing all over the place. He's forcing him back. Reynor is zoning this out. A Baneling sneaked inside of his natural and got so many probes in a single detonation here, thanks to +2 melee. Reynor, it looks like he's holding on for now. And if he can push back this army, he's going to be so far ahead.
Zest back at home. He's only mining with 20 probes right now. Does he remake his probes, or does he make Zealots? And he's making Zealots, but he has to make magic happen with this, because Reynor right now must be mining a good 3 or 4 times more than Zest. And yeah, we see that on the income tab right now.
It's a disaster for Zest. I think it's Dark Shrine time here. It might be the only way he can maybe come back in his game, but I would expect Reynor to maybe start sending some more Lings and Banes on the other side of the map and keep on applying pressure, do more damage every single time.
Zest has a nice position here in which he's doing what he can, just using that high ground vision there, just picking and poking and such. But the thing is, every second that goes by is a good second for Reynor. Reynor feeling so confident that he sends some roaches across the map. He's not going to let Zest mine from any one of these bases. Oh, but Zest wrapping around with the Zealots here, trying to get to those juicy roaches and Ravagers, and does give up the base, but I think that was a good give up by Reynor. 17
Banes down. Did I just hear a recall? No. Looks like he's still maybe attacking. As soon as those Banes finish, though, it's going to be amazing against this army. It's mostly Zealots and Stalkers. There's the 3 Mortals, of course. Reynor being very patient. He knows that if he defends here, he's going to be in a fantastic position to open up the scoreboard here. Banelings are going to start unrolling in. He was very patient as well with the connection. Stalkers already blink back, so they can't blink anymore. Banelings connecting big time, and Reynor, look at the supply so far ahead. This is going to be it.
So much supply was lost, and GG. Reynor takes a pretty